Hello, YouTube family. Mike Minicki here, author of thrillers, horror books, and dark fantasy. Also the host of Nightwriter's Myth and Legends. And that's what we're here today to do is the following video you're about to watch is a live episode that was recently done on Nightwriter Myth and Legends. The show, in case you guys are new to it, is a show about myth and legends around the world. Sometimes we talk about the legends, sometimes we have books related stuff on there because a lot of myth and legends come from books or vice versa, or they influence books. This one I had two special guests on. I had Shae Smith, who is also an author of such books like Sour, Cue the Trumpets, and several others. Also, we had Kristen Moran, which is also an indie author, up and coming. She has a couple books out now. Both of these authors are brilliant writers, and I had the pleasure to work with them and interview them. We all three participated in a Choose Your Own Ending series put on by Stephanie James Publishing. If you want to check out more about Stephanie James Publishing, I'll leave a link below where you can go check out her website and see all the other books that she does over there. Amazing person. I highly recommend you check out that website and the authors that she has helped support it. For today's episode, we'll let the episode speak for itself. But just real quick, we did a series called Daniel Maya, which is another author, did a book called Your Move. It's about a little girl whose father passes away, and he was a very big chess player, and she finds the chessboard in the attic, and things start going wrong. That book was amazingly done. I took and done the sequel to it called Next Move, and in my book, it takes a little bit further in the future of the young girl as she's growing up. And then things take place there as well, and she's forced to play the game again. Kristen Moran does a parallel book to mine, where she shows a different viewpoint from one of my side characters. I think she did a phenomenal job. And then, of course, Shae Smith does the final book of the series called The Last Move. And that's what this interview is about. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned, like, share, and help these authors out as well. Thank you guys.
Hey.
How you doing, Shae?
Good. Can you hear me? All right, all good.
I can hear you.
You'll be able to see me in a second. I just gotta share it.
All right. I don't know. This is the first time, it took me forever to do, to get it split screen. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I still can't figure it out, so I'm proud of
Yeah.
you.
So, I don't know if I figured it out per se, or it just happened.
It just falls in your lap. Fell into place one day.
Kind of just worked one time.
Hey, something really funny while I'm still sharing this. My husband today, he was listening to one of your videos of you talking because he was in the room, and he goes, his voice sounds really, really, really familiar. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, and I'm gonna figure it out. And so I was at piano lesson with my son, and he texted me a name of a comedian. Do you know what comedian it is?
No, so yes, I do. Let me guess it really quick. First, thank you, Marianne, for the gift. Everybody says I sound like Norm Macdonald.
Yep, that's him.
So there's an interesting story. So because I'm very quick, like I'm sarcastically quick.
Yes.
And Norm Macdonald is very sarcastic.
Well, he was also a little slower than you talk at times too. I think you talk faster than him.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I usually talk so fast people can't keep up.
Same.
But I used to, whenever I lived in Maui, there's a place, my friend owned a bar called Paradise Blues, right? I'm going to see if I can get Kristen on here. And there we go.
I'm here.
Try to make it even, but it doesn't seem to work that way. We got a few minutes before it starts. I can't switch the screen, so I don't know. So, but I used to work my friend used to own a place called Paradise Blues, and I would go down there because I'm so quick with the one-liners because my favorite comedian was Rodney Dangerfield.
Nice.
And this guy could just like pop out jokes like that. No matter, it was nonstop. And then when me and Kat get together, people cannot handle it because me and Kat will fire off right behind each other so much that people are just like, "What the hell happened?" Mm-hmm. And I used to get invited up when I was probably about in my 20s to go do improv. And everybody would do it because I would do a lot of sarcastic stuff like Norm Macdonald did. But Norm Macdonald was like one of my, got no respect. Good one, Sherry, from Rodney Dangerfield. But Norm Macdonald, everybody says it. all the
Yep.
time.
Yep. My husband, it bugged him all day. And I was like, you know what? I bet he's already heard it before. I bet when I bring it up, he's going to be like, everybody's told me this. And yeah, so he was like, you have to tell him. I'm like, he already knows, Harley. I know. He already knows.
And it was funny because
I
like
know. Yeah.
when I was younger, I didn't see it. But like when I had I never had a beard until about 10 years ago. I always had it clean shaven. And we moved here, it was cold. And I just kept it and my dad had it and we looked alike. But I used to get it without the beard and I had my hair longer. Everybody used to get me mixed up with Nicolas Cage, and I'm thinking like, nah, dude, he looks like he's like way old. He's only a couple years older than me, but he looks way older than
I
me.
say you don't have the wrinkles, Nicolas Cage,
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, yeah. I'm a senior citizen, and no one gets it. We just went to the. I went to a place the other day, and I had to buy beer for. So
Oh,
I don't really drink. You okay?
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm never okay.
You're good. This is my show, so everything goes wrong very quick.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, that's never happened in impromptu. You're right.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to start. But yeah, I went and I ordered. We went somewhere else, and I got me and Kat were together, and I got carded, and I'm just thinking like, dude, I'm over 50.
Yeah, no, you look great. Yeah, no wrinkles. I don't even see a wrinkle on the screen. I think I might have as equal wrinkles as you.
You just
I got the bags really bad. That's genetic. People are always like, "Are you tired? Are your eyes black?" I'm like, "No, my dad has them, and they're just there."
got. Now I haven't had that problem. I do get them like once in a while, or if I got like the neck pain, sometimes it causes the blood pressure to go off.
Yeah.
We're 8 o'clock. So we're
I
gonna.
get carded all the time, so
Yeah, how old are you, Kristen?
I'm 31.
Oh, you're like, yeah, you do look like a little
Yeah.
child. You look like around
You
16,
do look,
17.
yes, I'm 32, and I feel like you look about 10 years younger than me. Especially my hair's up. I look older with my hair up for sure. So
All right, so it's about 8 o'clock. We're going to start now. This show is always chaos. It's controlled chaos because I don't plan anything out. And then voice message Shae and told her, hey, I'm going to be prepared for this one because Kristen's on. Huge fan of Kristen. And I didn't prepare. So this is just going to be interesting. I'm going to do a quick introduction and then I'll probably take and throw some questions at Kristen here. And then we'll swap out.
I can't believe you.
I know. I was kind of,
You
I was,
scared Mike. You told me.
so I think better on my feet. Well, I glitch out no matter what. So it doesn't. There's a funny thing about the cowboy hat that we'll talk about at the very end of the show. There's a surprise that I got with the cowboy hat.
You better.
And Clint Baker is going to be part of it. So
What?
yeah, wait,
Is
that
Clint?
means you got to stay until the end to hear what's going to happen.
Do I have
And
to
we'll
make
do
a decision tonight? Are you guys doing something like crazy?
It's gonna be out there. So I told Marion. Marion always gets a heads up, so we'll find out.
Darn it.
Okay,
She deserves it. She's the best.
yeah. And then I'm not as good as Shae and Clint, so I cannot read the. No, Marianne, it was a joke. I'm not wearing assless chaps, dude. I don't even know if I can say that on here. So we're not doing that. So see, okay, never mind. So real quick, my name is Mike Manicki. I'm the author of I don't know, I just glitched out. Books. So thrillers, horror books, and whatever. I think dark fantasy now with the new series of Water of Light. It's my show, Nightwriter's Myth and Legend, where we always talk about myth and legends around the world. But we got this tonight. I am super excited for two reasons. One, I got Kristen Moran on the show, author. She's in the bottom screen right there. And on the top screen, I got a co-host I stole away from Clint for one episode, is author Shae Smith. And the reason I got her on there helping me out is because we all three wrote a books in a series. I just ordered yours, Kristen. I do have all days on here.
Yeah, they just come out.
Yeah. I did download it too, so I could try to read prep for tonight. And I got through like the first chapter, which I'll go over in a minute. And then the next move, mine, and then your move, what started off, and then Kristen's is going to be a wrong move. Real quick, I'm just going to take a few minutes and we'll go down around here. So we'll start with Kristen because she's my author tonight. So go ahead, Kristen, introduce yourself.
My name is Kristen N. Moran. I have wrote in her head. I have The Vampire Princess is now out.
Nice.
And Wrong Move is out now on paperback. So
Nice. Shae?
Sorry, I'm ordering wrong move. You know what? Once you said this is no longer structured, I went off the loop now. My name is Shae Smith, and I am a sci-fi fantasy and also romantic thriller, psychological thriller author. I like to write things that are dark and twisted that might also make you laugh at times. I have my book Sour out now, and I'm writing the second book, Sweet, which is taking the lemon orchard in the Arizona setting into Indiana into an apple orchard setting. So I'm very excited about that. There's more plot twists and turns, and I'm also working on another psychological thriller with spice called Trials. And it is absolutely insane. I'm not going to waste too much of our time here talking about Trials because I could talk about it all day. But if you like that dark, twisted stuff that I'm putting out there, you're going to love Trials. And I also, today, I didn't bring it up here. I thought I did. Last Move, which is the continuation off of Mike Minicky, and what Kristen's book, Wrong Move, is also continuing off of. Yes, there we go. Yay. I'm never prepared, am I? I thought I was prepared. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm sticking with my thriller, horror, psychological craziness themes. I think I will not trail off of that for a while.
Nice. And then, so Kristen, a couple of things right off the bat for the viewers in the audience that have read. I brought this up on a couple of other times that we talked and we've interviewed. Wanted to throw it back out. So Dredrick Town, I had wrote a book, and one of the characters was Jocelyn. And how I found you is you were doing book reviews first before you became an author, and I saw you, and immediately I was thinking if I could put a face to the character, it was you. And so I always like to let some of the fans in the comments down below, if they always want to put a face to it, that you're the perfect Jocelyn for the book because you fit the character right when I came on there. Now, when we first started talking, and I got you on Shae and Clint's show, and we talked about In Her Head, which was a very amazing book. I fell in love with it. It was your first indie author book that you brought out, and it hit me just in the first chapter. Your writing style, and I'm going to talk about it on The Wrong Move, is very impactful right out of the gate. And one of the things I like about that is because sometimes I've read books and you just get lost within the first two chapters before anything actually grabs you. When you wrote In Her Head, or when you were doing it, did you honestly, I know I asked some of these questions, but we got new members down below. Did you feel like when you wrote it, did you feel like, hey, this is me, this is what I feel like I'm going to go ahead and do this and go forward with?
Yeah, when I was writing it, I was at a low. My grandfather just got diagnosed with cancer and they only give him so long to live, and he wanted me to do something that I really enjoyed doing, which was I always really liked writing and reading, so I kind of wrote the book and I put all that depression I was feeling and I threw it in there. And I got that out. Unfortunately, it was after he died, but I just felt like it was something I really had to do.
It was powerful. Like the words that you wrote, it hit for those of us that have like deep issues. You know what I mean? It's hard to like get it out on words where most people don't understand, right? And when I read that book, I just thought it was amazing. I can't wait. I do know that you have a sequel that you said you were hinting at about doing. Do you already have that in play? Is it almost done, or when do you think it would be released?
It is, I'm about halfway through it. The only thing with it is when I get into it, it really brings me back down to my lows, that it's really hard for me to get back up. So I can only write so much of it before I have to stop and think about where I'm at in life and bring myself back out of that depression.
I'm glad you said that because it was, when I was writing Orders of the Dark, I had started another book and I gave Marion like the first chapter, and it was called Death and I. And thank you guys so much for the gifts. Thank you, Matt. And whenever I was writing it, because it's very close to being written off of me, that it got so bad that I had to actually like just stop I couldn't even finish the story because I have barriers up that kind of like keep me normal, and if those go around, that's bad. So I'm glad you got that out. I did not know that you had a second. I do follow you like religiously. I have like you, Shae, and everybody like that. I have like the top people that I follow. I check every time I come on. I did not know that, so I don't know how I missed it. But you said that you have a new book out. Then you can hold up the book again and tell us a little bit about that. I'd love to hear about that.
The Vampire Princess. I just released this maybe last week. I don't promote myself really. I focus more on promoting everybody else's stuff, and maybe I should try to push my stuff out more. But it's just not who I am as a person. I self doubt myself more than anything, and I'd rather see everybody else succeed before I push myself to do it.
So,
This is 3 point of views in it. It's between Nalia, Clover, and Alessandro. She is in foster care, and she has a part of her life where she knows she's something more, but she just doesn't know until her family comes in, finds her. And Clover is a vampire slayer, and he has this destiny where he has to kill the princess. And then Alessandro is a vampire, and he's kind of her protector from the shadows.
when you were talking about that with the 3 points of view, I really like that because I wrote down some stuff that I was paying attention, so I had to write it down. So I don't usually do that. Two things. One, you said about like promoting others. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways to promote yourself. Is usually whenever you're promoting others that you're seeing when you do the book thing, how you did the book reviews. That's how I came onto you, and now look where we're at, right? And then the second thing is that one of the things that you have a talent for, when you wrote in your head, and then you wrote the short story for the contest of Nightwriter Myth and Legends, Hug and Mally, you have a brilliant way of doing timelines and different viewpoints in your story. Whereas generally in most traditional authors, they just stick to one way going down and that's it. When you bring that element together, it really hits differently. Okay. So that's what I really like about that. And then when you do that, does it ever trip you up in writing when you break the scenes up like that?
No. I never really have issues. I just kind of write.
That's actually really creative. I mean, that's good that you can do that and stay in character, which brings me to the wrong move. Whenever I was reading it, the first book, Your Move, is written in first person. I always like to write in third person. And then whenever I started reading Shae's was written in third person like me, but you went back to first person, whereas you did second person in the Hug and Mally story, which was fantastic. That gave me the chills. And then the first chapter of Wrong Move, I was literally reading it before it came on. That's terrifying. like right out of the gate. I ain't gonna spoil anything, but it starts with the character and in the house right off the bat, and he's all telling him, "I want you to make friends with him. I need the blood." And I'm like, "Whoa!" Right off in just like the dialogue, and I'm like, "This has got chills. This is horror right through there." It may not be a full horror book, but that was insane. So because most authors can't handle switching from first to third, and then they usually slip up and maybe do both in a book. Do you find that hard at all, or when you wrote that book, The Wrong Move, did you know right off the bat you were going to do it first person?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like writing third person as much. I find first person is easier for me. So, and then when I read your book, I always had an inkling there was something more to Mark, which is why I wrote that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that right off the bat, but Mark's at the very beginning. I'm like, holy crap, she took this guy. She's going to take this. I'm so excited because now I'm going to think of like, where in the hell is she going to go with this one? Because the very first, I read the first, it's got like a prologue or whatever it is, and it's short, and then it goes into the first chapter. And it's extremely terrifying. I can almost see not only the horror effect of it, but already I can see the mental health aspect of it, which you write well into there. Is there anything that you can talk about on the mental health in it? Is it going to stay straight horror all the way through, or do you add that in there without spoilers? I don't want to spoil it, but can you talk a little bit about that?
No, there's some mental health stuff going on. Mark has at home stuff going on, and that really affects with his mindset. So,
Yeah. And I like the fact that you guys, both of you guys, kept Mr. Wilburn as a main character in there. That was gonna when you guys read. I'm gonna start with you right for right now, Kristen. When you read Next Move, because I remember you doing a book review on it a while back. When you first read that character, what did you think of that character? And then just two questions. What do you think of him? And then how did you kind of do the spin in the book? Did you try to stick true to that character, or did you try to put a different spin?
he's true to your character. I made your book or my book off of yours. So
Okay.
everything you did is still there.
Anyway, you did a really good job terrifying because I kept mine almost because when I was doing it for Stephanie James Publishing, I was thinking, okay, my usual books are always really dark and everybody just dies off. So I was like, maybe turn it around. And I'll keep it just more comedy. But man, yours is brutal right out of the bat. So what did you think of the character of both when you read the book, the first one, and what did you take away? Was there any inspiration from that book that brought into the Wilburn character and even Mark itself?
No, I wasn't prepared for the witch thing. When I started writing, I kind of like I didn't change anything, but I was trying to figure out how to incorporate it and make Mark where he's at in the book. So it that was a little difficult with Mr. Wilburn, but I think it really came out really good the way you had him written.
Well, he was actually based off a real character. I know we're not supposed to do that. So we had this. It was just real quick. We had a neighbor, and we had chain link fence around the house when we were in Missouri, and he had built a wooden fence just on our side to block us out, not the whole yard, just us. And he was just a very bitter old man, just the way he was described. And I kicked a soccer ball. I shattered his window, and then I tried to blame it on someone else. And then it turned out to like a almost like a 5 year war between me and him. So that was based off a real character. He's long gone now, so hopefully his family doesn't see this and sue me. But who knows? So when you were approached by Stephanie James Publishing, did she approach you or did you approach her? And then if whoever approached you, what did you think when you were going to write this? Did you say right off the bat, yeah, I'll do it, or did you have a lot of hesitation?
I don't remember. I might have talked to her first, but I'm not entirely sure. Um, but she gave me the first one to read, and then I read that, and I was a little hesitant. And she said, "Read Mike's, see what you can do from there." And I read yours, and I'm like, "I got it."
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. And I'm glad that both you and Shae actually were the ones because that was another thing I was worried about. So I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to like just pick up and do this or that. And I was worried about my book, one, not being as good as other authors. And then two, who would write after me? And because I know that was going to be a part of a series, right? And I was just like, okay. And then I had to leave some of the characters alive because otherwise it wouldn't be continued. And then I find out both you and Shae wrote something on it, and dude, I'm in heaven. I think first of all, I've read half of Shae's book already because I got it the other day, and I'm already about halfway through. And then yours right off the bat, both you guys did an amazing job on it, and that's crazy. Do you feel like you'll do more books now that you've done it with her, maybe more down the line for Stephanie James Publishing?
If she asked me to, I will. Yeah, I like working with her. She's very good to work with. She's very nice.
That's what me and Shae both felt that, and I didn't want to because I had a lot of other authors reach out to me that she reached out to. She was asking me first, and she's all like, "Mike, I don't feel like you don't want to take your people, but you do surround yourself with powerful authors." And I said, and she asked me about certain ones, and I said, yes, both you and Shae was like a no-brainer. I said, if they're okay with it, I'm not going to influence them, but yeah. But I found that she was extremely likable and very easygoing and on the process. I also saw I saw your chapter headers, which was really cool. Did she ask you for any influence on the cover of yours? 'Cause-
I just kind of let her, I said to her, "All your covers are great. said, I give you full faith in doing whatever you need to do. And she came out and I loved it.
Good. That's the way I felt about it. I know that she had to do the whole hourglass thing because that's like the traditional of all the way go through. But one of the things that got me is that she did a music video for my book, The Next Move, which the song's badass. I play that thing, blast that in the car. I don't know if you guys have heard it. And then there's a video game that she's doing for all of our books where you read the book and you take a quiz. You're going to unlock a character, and that character gets to play. Did she already talk to you about that?
Yeah, she talked to me. She sent me all the information and stuff. I just have to find time to do it.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna put it together, but did she? I don't know because I haven't checked everybody else's yet. Did she already give you a song for your book yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it's coming. They're good. And then at this point, I'm gonna slap it back over to Shae for the next 20 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes we'll kind of do a roundup. So I'm gonna let Shae take over for right now. Go ahead, Shae.
You cried. You cried. You're so funny. You are so funny. I can't. This is so much fun. Um, Kristen, I might ask you some similar questions that I asked you the other night. I did try to make different ones because I was more impromptu the other night than I was. I was trying to be more structured here this evening. But some people haven't heard some of the answers to things that I think are fun to talk about. But first off, I don't think Mike brought it up, but did you do anything, unless I missed it? I have a terrible brain fog right now. Did you bring up a magic chessboard or do anything with chess?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did chess, and the way I did it was Mr. Wilburn don't want to touch it because that was his wife's board. So he won't touch that. He actually has Mark do checkers.
Oh, I love.
So
Okay, fun, fun. Which I think I did some type of Jack Wilburn's wife's grandma, I think, had like a journal in mine that had to do with the chessboards that had answers to the chessboards. But I think it came from Jack's side of the family in my book, which is the fun part about these adventure things. I want to know a little bit more about Mark because you kind of sideswiped me with the side character there. I was so excited once you told me that's what you were doing, and when I put two and two together, and I think it's extra funny that Jack Wilburn was Mike's neighbor in real life. So now, like, the soccer ball through the window makes it so much funnier for me, and that it's like on the covers. Does yours have a soccer ball on the cover?
I think it does actually. I don't know. I don't have it yet.
Oh yeah.
It comes tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that's so funny. But more about Mark, that you chose him and he was one of these kids that were participating in knocking the soccer ball through the window, for those that don't know. What kind of happens with Mark? Are you saying like in his childhood, like from the moment, like you picked up an exact moment from Mike's book and then moved forward with Mark?
I picked up maybe a little bit before. In the beginning, it's when they first arrive.
Oh.
Like in Mike's book, okay?
Oh, okay.
And then I take it back further and before they arrive, and it kind of give you a flashback of what happened and why he's there. And
okay, yes. So you really gave us all the beef to what we needed for the stew. That was so stupid. I'm sorry. What made you choose Mark and not one of the other boys or even one of the other main characters? What about Mark really stood out to you?
he always seemed more like a mystery. Like Mike brought out a little bit of his parents, but it didn't seem like his parents really cared.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was like, there's trauma here. And it rang bells in my head because trauma's just what I like to write about, I guess.
Fair enough. His home life was really honing out here. Like his parents does not care where he's at. He's just out here roaming, blasting holes through windows. And then do the other kids, did you keep Bobby around a lot? And then I can't remember the other one's name. Sorry, Mike. You didn't even know Mark's name last week, so I'm not even.
Brain damage.
I still got to get you on it, though, Mike. We still got to keep you up to par where we're at.
Yeah, all the kids are in it. all of them are in it, and they all do the stuff that they did in Mike's. Mark still loses his eyebrows.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that is genius. You really did something cool with it. I love that you stayed more immersive with Mike's story than Mike did with Danielle's or than I did with Mike's. Like Mike and I both kind of came off and went our own directions and our own stories, like future advances where you stayed in the present moment and worked off of that. How far into the future does Wrong Move go to?
I end it kind of the same exact place where Mike ended it with the fire at the end,
Okay.
but I do have a second ending in it.
Oh, neat. That's so crazy that you ended it with the fire and that's like where I started it. So that's just extra, extra cool to
Well,
me.
I told Stephanie because she told me you were writing it. I'm like, can you send me like the first 5 chapters so I can
Yeah, yeah.
see where she's
Yeah,
at? Where
I told her I was like, yeah, please, you can go ahead. I trust Kristen. Yeah, and you were able to kind of see like where I went with it, so you didn't like go the same, which it could have been an easy path to go down with the end with the fire and
yeah,
stuff and then go into hell. I kind of played it safe and did exactly you didn't play it safe, I guess. Did you realize that you like weren't playing it safe when you did it?
I thought it was safe.
I think yours is more complex and difficult. Like you literally went back and then like re-brought up the moment. I would have had to like keep going back and reading Mike's stuff because my brain doesn't work very well either most days. I have some things of my own going on, but I would have had to went back. Like I looked everywhere for like Jack Wilburn's wife's name. I don't think Mike ever mentioned it, and I like scanned through all these.
I don't think you did either. And then I was reading through yours, and I'm like, at least she gave her a
I
name,
gave
and I
her
have
a
something to
name.
go off of here.
I gave her a name, Mike. I looked forever for her name.
He was when he was. We never knew him as anything else. It was just Old Man Wilburn. So like we never called him anything else. Never knew his name. We don't.
Mike,
I don't
you
even
use
remember
the
his last.
same name.
Yeah, just the same last name. I made up Jack. Was it Jack? No, I didn't even make up Jack Wilburn. I think it was just Mr. Wilburn. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, Mike does not play it safe. I thought that was just okay. Jack Wilburn, let's talk more about him. We both kept his nasty, menacing character in our books. How did you go about making him bitter? Did you give him more scenes than he had in Mike's book, or did you kind of follow off the same scenes and um, build off of
I
that?
don't think I gave him more. I just kind of fell with the scenes.
Okay.
Um, when you read it, you'll see that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our scenes are kind of the same, but it's just a different
From
point of
my
view. I added more depth to it. Maybe if they had questions while they were reading Mike's, I kind of answered them from a different.
Okay. What I really like about that is Bobby kind of comes from a decent home where Cynthia and David, I think the dad's name is, they're like good parents. And, where you're saying that Mark comes from a more traumatic childhood home. So his perspective could weigh heavier than Bobby's perspective. I think that's really, really cool. I'm so excited to read it. And you said you had two endings. Do you want to share like maybe the vibe of each ending without spoiling it? Like, did you go like one like sad, one happy, or
I'm gonna just say one's light and one's dark.
okay, that's perfect. That's all I needed for me. What can you tell us a little bit more about Mark's personality in general? Like kind of give us an in-depth who he is outside of the broken household, perhaps?
Um, he still holds that bad assery that he had before. But it kind of shows you why he is the way that he is. With his mindset, why he feels like, oh, maybe I should take this because of my losses, and it it's really hard to explain because he's traumatized.
Yeah, like trauma is his personality, Shae. That's like you can say that. It's okay. um, No, I really like the psychological aspect that you brought to it because I think I focused more on practicing my spice mixed with psychological thriller-ish, where you've been going deep in these psychological battles and journeys with it, and that can be more trying on authors because I don't know if many people realize this, but the psychological aspect of a story is the hardest part to explain of the story. And if that is the majority of the story, you literally just have to read it to understand what's happening. And I think that's why Kristen tonight's been like, oh, yeah, well, it's really deep. So you kind of got to dive into it to really get it.
It's just
I
really
get it.
dark.
No, I get it. Mike gets it. I mean, that's what we live for. um, so with his parents, Mark's parents, did you bring them in more? Did you give them more scenes, or were they just kind of floating on the outside?
No, they have scenes.
Okay.
Oh
Oh.
Yeah, they
yeah,
have
right
scenes.
out the gate, man.
Oh, so this is where all the trauma is coming from. We
So
start.
from what I read so far, she wrote the book in Mark's, like it's happening concurrent events, but she wrote everything from Mark's perspective. And it was because Mark was the one character that didn't really fit the group.
Yep.
And so from what I read in the first chapter, she definitely brings in the family members, man, right out of the gate.
Good, good. I'm glad you did that because I wrote like new characters next to some of my questions, and I was like, well, his parents kind of are new characters. So I wanted because they were like briefly mentioned before that they kind of like sucked, you know? They really didn't care. Can you give us a little bit about each of their personalities?
Well, the dad's kind of a drunk,
Okay.
and the mom is unalived. So,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Gotcha. Which is a sad setup, by the way, folks. It does sound like.
She does it really great at the beginning because without I don't want to spoil it, but right in the very first part I saw, the Mark can see the mom.
Okay. I love that.
Thank you for the gifts.
Yeah, I love that. No, so a little supernatural touch as well is what I'm picking up. Yeah, I love that too. I love my supernatural, and I like when supernatural can be mixed in something that kind of seems contemporary, where it doesn't seem like there's anything out of the mundane, just kind of, and then it just pops up and it's like, oh, because people with mental illness often experience things like that. And I'm not going to dive in deep, make you guys think I'm crazy because I've been here saying a few times on this show that I have a sixth sense. But when you experience some forms of mental illness, you can separate it from the actual sixth sense because things can happen. But if it's a kid, you never know. It could be real, right? I love that you did that. I'm so excited. I just downloaded it on my Kindle too. I'm going to read it before it gets here, honestly. I asked you about your ending. Do you feel so? Mike kind of answered this for you, but I want to know your opinion on it because I actually wrote it down and Mike already brought it up. But do you feel like the tone that you put in your book was very drastically different from Mike's and mine? Like, how could you compare the three tones? I want to hear it from you because you read mine. You read 5 chapters, so
Yeah, I've read the first 5.
yep, you got the point. Yeah.
I mean, the only difference I would say, well, yours has spice in it, from what you said. Mine does. This is the first one I didn't do any spice in, so.
We swapped.
But it's just horror. I just did horror.
Okay, so definitely
And like
more.
in the psychological that I always do, but I did a lot of horror in this one.
Okay, cool. It's just my favorite genre. So, that is like the majority of the questions I had written down, Mike. You didn't say impromptu. I can keep going because I'm a professional impromptu interviewer. But I did go through my whole question list. I think it would be fun to open the chat at the end, like you said, and you and Clint have whatever you guys got going on set up with each other. I don't know how much time you need for that.
No, it's okay. Actually, still got some questions. Because as you guys were going, I wrote some down for once.
There you go.
So I got a question for like both of you guys. So obviously the original book started off with chess playing. Okay. So I myself am a big fan of chess because whenever you write chess, or you play chess, it teaches you, kingdoms and stuff were won off of it. They were like, princes were taught how to play chess because on a battlefield, you're playing chess. Have either of you guys had experience playing chess? Do you like chess, or was this like a big thing new to you? We'll start with Kristen, since you're the
Kristen,
main
make him
one.
guess. Make him guess, Kristen.
Make them guess. Do I know how to play
Yeah,
chess?
Mike.
I would say yes. No.
I know the basics. Now, my husband's very, very good at chess, but if I have to do it, it's going to take me a little longer to think about my moves, where he could just pick it up and go.
Yeah, but chess is like that game where you actually have to think it out. There are some players that can move really quick. I'm not one of those. I like to see every angle, worst case scenario. What about you, Shae?
Guess, Mike.
I'd say, I don't know. It's wrong on Kristen. I'd say yes on this one.
2 out of 2. Who said girls can play chess, Mike? Yeah, I actually learned how to play chess very, very young. So I grew up out in the country. We didn't have much to do but to be outside. And when we couldn't be outside, we were inside reading and playing board games. So my best friend and I actually learned how to play chess, and I played for many years. I haven't played in a long time, but I do know what each piece does on the board still. So
There you go. I do like the fact that on your book, I read the first chapter, and right off the bat, I don't want to give too much away, but someone's in hell, so I won't say names, but right off the bat, there's a chessboard. But the way it's presented, like as they're starting to line up, that was pretty cool. So I'm glad that you kept that chess at the beginning, because that kind of fits the whole thing. And then, Kristen, you said that Mark goes into what was it, checkers, right? So it goes from chess to checkers in there. What made you go that route?
I did it more so because Jack was saving the chessboard for Cynthia and his wife. So I didn't want to take that away from them. And he still needed a way to get the souls.
Yeah.
So checkers is the only other thing I could really think of at that time.
All right. Do you play checkers? Thanks for the gift, Jay Michael. Do you play checkers?
I do like checkers, yeah.
Shae?
yes, Mike, I know how to play checkers.
I didn't say
actually.
I said, do you like playing checkers?
Oh, do I like
Everybody
it?
knows how to play
Well,
checkers.
sometimes it
The
brings up
kids play that.
sometimes checkers hits my trauma spots, because my dad really thoroughly used to love to play checkers when he was drinking, and it was just like, so I don't have like a soft spot for it because I was forced to play checkers for hours with my intoxicated father. So,
Got it. And then, Kristen, you've done from my understanding, like whenever, because I've only read the one book and I'm reading this one. You go and then Hug and Mally, which I think that you did, out of the 3 stories, I think yours was the most terrifying because it had a full horror element to it. Whereas Clint's was awesome. It reminded me of Supernatural, which I really loved that because it had the boys' vibes in it, and it had really good comedy in there. Like the one kid, he's bribing the kid, and the kid's taking him for a loop. And then Emma's was just, hit that dark fantasy really well, right? And I wasn't a judge on it, but that's what went on there. But yours was very true to horror, and it gave the heebie-jeebies. But then you had In Your Head, which was very psychological. Have you now, like, it took Shae a couple tries because all her books were great, but now she already knows what genre she's going to stay in, or at least for now. She's got a clearer picture. Do you have a clearer picture on where you're going to go now forward with your writing?
Not really. Because The Vampire Princess is more like a dark romance, and I really enjoyed writing it. But I really enjoyed writing the horror stories too. So.
You're good at it. You got a talent for like the horror, because the way you break up the scenes, and you do time, like on the books I read, you do time jumps, right? Or time on the other 2. And that really hits a reader differently, right? But you do horror really well, and I think that you should still, go whatever route you want. But I think that's a genre that you really your writing is perfect for. Thank you again for the gifts. I think that it's something that you definitely should keep going. Do you already have an idea on your neck besides the sequel to In Your Head, and you got the vampire one, and then you got The Wrong Move? Do you have like another story already brewing?
Oh, I have I have pretty many, yeah. Uh, I kind of have a demons and angels thing going on. Uh, I was actually thinking of another horror one I wanted to do. It's just kind of forming though. I have the sequel to The Vampire Princess kind of forming. So
Nice.
there's it's a lot of different projects.
Do you already have them written down, like which ones you want to do, or do you have them like in order, or are you just kind of playing it whatever pops in the head?
Just whatever pops in the head. I
That's
don't
me.
have any, I don't outline, I just go with it.
Yeah, that's the way it is with me. Like I'll just whatever hits me, and then I'll start writing it, and then sometimes I get sidetracked, and I'll just start writing the other one. Whenever you take and do your writing, and you're sitting down and you're thinking, do you have? Because there's some authors, like traditional authors, that have to have things a certain way. For example, Stephen King has to have a watch with a little cat's eyes going back and forth on his table. Do you have any kind of like superstitious thing that you have to have when you're writing?
I don't think it's superstitious, but I always have music going, and I always have the cat in my lap.
It's not superstitious, but I got to have those two things going at the same time.
Yeah. Nothing odd about that at all, Kristen.
Nothing wrong. There's no red flags or what we got
It's
going
like,
on. But
No, I gotta, the cat's more for me
it's like,
because
what music?
she's like my support. She's my support. Does that sound good?
no, that sounds awesome. That's what it helps you calm down and you get thinking creative. Shae, do you have anything like that?
I just need complete silence and nobody to be around me.
Your poor husband.
The exact opposite. Oh man, yeah, he's a quiet man. My husband, I'm the talker in the relationship, so he's a quiet man. That's why I like him. Um, I don't got no. He can usually be in the room. He's
I
not
love
an
it because he
introvert.
doesn't talk.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. He's like a silent man, and I'm grateful for it. It's the best thing I could have ever done for myself.
Everybody asked me, like, you've been married for how long? I said, about, I'm going on 25 years. And they're like, how'd you stay married so long? My wife doesn't speak English.
Right. Pretty much same thing over here. Sometimes
They
I
go,
wonder.
do you understand Ilocano and Filipino? No. Did you ever try to learn? Nope. I like the relationship the way it is.
It's the same over here. My husband's just mute. You see, we have to pick up on physical, like whatever, you know. But no, he's easy. Yeah,
See,
just silence.
maybe that's why I need the music because my husband and my kid are always yapping.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my kids never shut up, but it.
Wow, this took such a turn. This took such a hard right. Halfway off, we went so far off course. And like, this is definitely my show because that
Yeah,
happens so often.
we know how to match our vibe, Mike.
I'm actually crying, you guys. So, one thing I always like to ask authors is that, for me, I don't want to be traditionally published because there's so many downsides of it as well. I like the freedom of controlling what I write, how I do things, and I had bad experiences with editors, and I just like no, I'd rather have it not be 100% perfect, but all mine. But I do know like some other authors like Clint Baker, they want to be traditionally published. So Kristen, if a traditional publisher came along, would you recommend? Would you go ahead and say yes, or do you want to stay indie, or which way would you like to go?
I like being indie, but I think it depends on how they want me to change because I don't want to change how I write. I like my weird stuff. I like my traumatizing stuff because I feel like in a way it helps people.
It does.
Sure.
So I do like writing it, and I wouldn't want to take away from it.
I agree. Like especially like in your head was so powerful. It's kind of like Shay's "Cue the Trumpets." These things, whenever you put it in someone else's hands, you're giving up your soul, in my opinion, because they're going to warp it to where they can just make the most money off of it, and it no longer becomes the best story. So I usually try to stay just to me, myself, and I. I will say though that your stories, like that's one reason why I was so after I read it, I was so eager to get it because I didn't have a show on there. Clint and Shae, they have a really good show. In case anybody does it, if they're new to the things, Clint and Shae, uh, Shae Smith, Clint Baker's on every Thursday night. You guys can check them out on Impromptu Live. It's a fantastic show. But whenever I was with you on, I was like, no, I had to reach out to Clint. I was like, hey, we got to get Kristen on thing because everybody needs to read that book. I think that nowadays we need to actually read books because we're dealing with a lot of trauma as far as our past or whatever. And I think that that was a really great book. On In Your Head, do you think? I know that you got a sequel coming on it, but do you ever think about maybe turning that? Is it going to be like just one more book to finish it off, or do you plan on doing like maybe 2 books onto that to really give it a full length?
I was just gonna do one more. I just felt like Kayla needed some closure,
Mhm.
and I want to give her an ending she deserves.
Got it. And then this is for both of you guys. So some authors they have a hard time writing stories that are in a shorter platform. So if you look at Stephanie James publishing books, most of them are on the thinner side. So, and then you guys some authors had a problem with Hug and Mally on the competition because they're used to writing such longer stories and you're trying to put a lot of action, a lot of details in such a short frame. Start with you, Kristen. Do you prefer writing the shorter stories? Is it easier for you or harder for you?
I prefer writing the shorter stories. Now the Vampire Princess is 300 pages, and I thought that was a struggle getting all. But I felt at the same time I felt like it needed the descriptions this one does, and it needed the storyline to be longer.
Gotcha. What about you, Shay?
Oh, well, I just told you I never shut up. So I have a really hard time with condensing my thoughts. A lot of people complained about the size of Sour and said that it was drug out, which I made it slow burn in nature anyway. But as you can see, I mean, it was big. I'm trying my best. That was why I did Stephanie James, because I needed to limit myself, and I thought that would be a really good way to do that. And I think it helped because I've since plotted 2 different books, like just plotted out to where they will be shorter. And I compared them in size to my plot of Last Move. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I can do this. I just have to, because I need more books out there and it takes me forever to do it because they're so darn long. And I handwrite the first draft. So it's just a nightmare over here most time. Length for me, I just try to make sure there's no plot holes by the end of it. That's the big thing. If it all runs and flows together, I think it's great. If you got some choppy parts in it, then that's when you need to start making cuts to your work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I saw when you released Sour, I was like, holy damn, that's like Webster's dictionary.
yeah.
But I know that you write really good, so I'm excited to actually read it because your stories they definitely hold you there. And then Kristen, I had another question for you, and I literally just lost that train of thought. It's a glitch. So it's coming back to me. Oh, here it is. So on your books, a lot of authors are now talking about how they wish some of their books, not all of them, but if they read a really good book, they see that it could possibly turn into a movie. Like for example, the twins, I could see that being into a movie. If someone approached to turn like maybe In Her Head, once you're done with the second book, into a television movie or a television series, how would you feel about that?
I don't think I would do that. Only because of how hard it is. I don't I don't want people to think that it's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like they would get that message if it turned into something more than the book.
Yeah. And we all know that most movies don't ever do books justice, right? Like I haven't seen a movie be better than a book at anything, just at least not that I've seen. I mean, it always gets distorted so bad out of
Oh,
it.
Handmaid's Tales. I enjoyed the show more than the books. I don't know
Gotcha.
why. That's the only one ever in history.
And then for the last, we got about 10 minutes left. If anybody's got comments, because I don't read the comments, if anybody's got a question, now's the time to ask.
Yeah, it's so hard. It is so hard to keep up down there and then think with your brain and talk with your mouth at the same time.
It is because you're trying to watch for like comments that shouldn't be there. But then when me, I get in a story mode and then I can't watch down. And then Marion had a show on with Brenda, and then they did like just a live. And then even she admitted it was like really hard to reach. Oh yeah, the cowboy thing. Okay, real quick. So, so whenever when I started the show, Nightwriter's Myth and Legend, it was basically just because I was like everybody else trying to get a live because it tells you need 3 lives to get on and do a show. And I was just trying to promote my books. But then I did the show and it kind of took off. And then whenever you end a show in analytics, it'll tell you how well you did compared to content creators similar or bigger than you. And on mine, it keeps saying that I'm 98% outperforming other content creators, which makes me feel good that people actually show up for this because I wouldn't. But so the monetization came in. They said, well, you're monetized now. It's like, okay. So I was looking at the behind the scenes on it, what to do. Well, there was one what you call dueling live performers, where I would have a live and I duel another live, and then you guys as the audience would click whose live you like better at the same time, and that gives that person a win, right? And it's a good way to like get gifts, if you will, and then have something on there. So it's called dueling lives. So I reached out to Clint from Clint Baker, so everybody's in the comment. So you reach out to Clint Baker and I say, hey Clint, I told him how the cowboy thing came about because I watched one of your guys as I was at work because I work Thursdays. And I saw everybody in the comments asking Clint to put on a cowboy hat because he's a cowboy. And then I had to go, but I heard that he put on a cowboy hat, come back. So I explained to Clint on how that came up. It came up off this show because I was doing something with a cowboy hat or like the little gift. And I used to tell the audience that I used to wear a cowboy hat all the time. I still wear cowboy boots almost everywhere I go. And I told Clint, hey, how about we do a dueling live? We both get our cowboy hats on and we just go at it to see who wins out of the competition. And I didn't think he was going to say yes. And Clint goes, yeah. He goes, I'm off next week for spring break. You want to do it? And I'm like, whoa, okay. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to I got to figure out how it works, but we're going to do a dueling live. Both of us in cowboy hats. Clint's going to win because he's a real cowboy. But the joke with the chat, I was out the other night and I was talking to Marion, and Marion goes, "Oh, that's going to be so great." And I said, "Yeah, but if I'm going to beat Clint at the very end, I'm going to have to like stand up and be in chaps, if you will." And that's how that came about. That's the reason why that came up. So it's a cowboy showdown next week. Letting everybody know. Maybe I need to get with Clint and get the details out. I was going to have you on, Shae, as a in the audience and shoot out rapid fire questions on who's the more cowboy, right? So like you got to come up with like
Best mustache, best. Yeah, I got this.
Best like Western movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And if the audience agrees and they can tap.
I think I can do a poll. So if I'm already a moderator on Clint's, obviously, but I can put a poll up and then they can vote on it too. And I think that helps boost as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Wow,
so there you go, Mary. We're going to do a cowboy show off. And then let's go real quick back to Kristen because we only got a few minutes here. So Kristen, I do notice that when you first came on one of the lives, it's always whenever you're getting on there, you got to bare yourself a little bit, and it's hard because you're putting your face out there. Most of my life, I spent it as a gray man. If people don't know what that is, they can look it up. So whenever you're supposed to be there but not seen, and then all of a sudden I get in off the world and I'm throwing my face out there, and it's still terrifying. How did you feel when you first did the first show live, being interviewed and stuff? Because you seem a lot looser now than you did the very first time.
I've had social anxiety my entire life. It's very hard for me to talk to people that I don't really know or trust. But you guys, I talk to you guys all the time, so it is getting easier. Lives are getting easier. It's easier for me to talk to people and tell people who I am and how I suffer and how I put that into my books. And
you do a really great job at that, and I'm glad that you let us know that. But I'm so glad that you were thank you for the gifts. I'm so glad that you were able to come on. Thank you so much for coming out there and hanging out with us. If you want to, go ahead and walk us out a little bit here. Go ahead and tell us again who you are, where the books that you have out, where they can find them, and then what social medias you're on.
My name is Kristen Moran. I have 3 books currently out: In Her Head, The Wrong Move, and Vampire Princess. They're all on the Zon. The Vampire Princess and Wrong Move are on the KU, so you can read them free. I have a lot of stuff coming. I just gotta get it there. And I am full of trauma and sadness. So
You're in the right crowd with both me and Shae. So like you
We are
definitely
three
found
peas in a pod.
yeah, you got to know we could all three write a massive volume book between the three of us easily. Real quick shout out to Ann Dunbar, thank you for the gifts, and then Jay Michael, thank you for the gift as well. And then Shae, you're up next.
You can get all of my books on the Zon as well. I'm pretty sure every single one of mine are on KU now. I put Sour on a few months ago, and honestly, that's where I'm getting most of my money and readers and all of it. So KU, I know there's some things people don't like about it, but I do suggest it. My social media platforms, I'm trying really hard to post more on the IG, but right here on TikTok is where you'll find me every day. I have a newsletter and allergies. Hold on. Sorry. Excuse me. I have a newsletter that I do want to start revamping and getting back onto because I was so good about it before and I felt like I got good feedback from that. So if you guys want to sign up for my newsletter, it's and all of my other stuff in that tree thing. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now.
Perfect. And then real quick, one thing I will have to get with you later on, Shae, is
I'm
so
threatening Clarence.
I
Not
know
threatening. I'm not doing nothing. TikTok.
you're good. So on I will tell some of you guys the Amazon campaign ads. I figured out how to make them work.
Okay.
And once you do know the science behind it, it
Mhm.
pays off.
That's
So
what I figured. Yeah, I'm listening.
yeah. So I'll go over it with you when we have more time, but there is a
Okay.
way to do the ad campaigns. I know everybody gives up and they give up too easily, but if you know how the science behind it and how to do them and then how to layer it, like since I've been doing that, it's just nonstop
I
sales.
knew there was a way. I knew there
Yeah.
was a way. I just can't figure out the way. But yeah, please, would love that. Would
Yeah, and it seems to be paying off like incredibly fast. So I'm very grateful for that. I do like the fact that a lot of people will do the Kindle Unlimited, so it's a good thing as well.
Mhm.
And then, I don't have time at this point. We'll have to do it another time, man. Sorry. We got like 4 minutes left before they kick me off. I mean, I can stay late, but then Amy is another author. She's got to show up next, and I don't want to take
Yeah.
away from her. So we want to make sure that she's got some people going over to her. Real quick, I would like to take and do Stephanie James says, I just want to thank you for the 3 of you putting so much effort into this. I'd like to take this thing really quick. Stephanie James Publishing is the publishing company that all 3 of us did our books from. So again, if you guys want more information about that, please go visit stephaniejamespublishing.com. She's also on YouTube. You can check out there. She does videos with about the books. These are basically stories where another author can tag in onto another author's work and then create the books. So the ones that we're talking about tonight, if you came in late, was the very first book, Your Move by Daniel Maya, all done from Stephanie James Publishing. The Next Move by me, Mike Manicki, Stephanie James Publishing. And then one that ties to this is actually who we got guest starring right now is Kristen Moran, and that's going to be The Wrong Move. And then the last book in the series is going to be The Last Move, of course. It's The Last Move. And this is by the beautiful lady up here in the corner, Shae Smith. And then my name is Mike Manicki. I'm an author of thrillers, horror books, dark fantasy coming out. I got a book, series, Waters of Dark, where it will tie all my books together. And to that series, even though it's a dark fantasy, you are going to see characters from the other books. The very first one is going to be tied to Dredrick Town, Witch's Revenge, and the last book I wrote, I just drew a blank. It's a glitch. Graveyard Games. So all 3 of those, there's that little puzzle piece telling me it's almost time. All those will be in the first book. And so far, I have 3 people as the test audience. Of course, Marion's one of them because she helps me with the editing. And so far, it's probably the best work I've written. So hopefully you guys will check that out. I'd like to thank very much for Kristen Moran for coming on here, author. She's fantastic. I love you, Kristen. You're awesome. You're just so pleasant. I always want to make sure that I get you on the show or whatever. You're just a little bundle of joy I like to take and talk to. Shae, you're always the best. I mean, the fact that you can come on here and tolerate me, I put you on the spot so much and I feel bad. But there's sometimes when, and I really do mean this, like you and J. Michael help me out because there's sometimes like I'm in pain all the time. I don't take painkillers. Thank you guys for the gifts for Kristen down there. I don't ever take painkillers, but my body has been so abused that the doctors say that it's over, right? And I just won't do it. And so when I'm on here and I can't get through an episode, you've popped on, J. Michael's popped on, and it's made that live go on, and I forget about the pain and everything. So you guys are an absolute blessing. And you can tell Clint, I'm not taking you away from him. I know that's your main brother. Just saying.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I love you both equally.
I love Clint. I'll be honest with you. I know that I got this, my daughter calls it a bromance, but let's be honest. This is the guy that literally you think of as the Western frontier. This is the guy that his day is working the ranch and then going down, catching some fish, putting it on the fire, and then watching the sunset. That's my boy. And that's what I'm talking
I love
about.
when he has those little goats on his videos.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And we're both dancers, so we both can dance.
That's so impressive. So we have to see dancing cowboys, not just.
That might be the winning touch on that duel. I might have to get up and dance or something, man. We're going to have to nail it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We got to make it work.
Thinking.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and end the show. I truly am grateful you guys helped me out. You guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. Bye now, guys.